Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to your Think Well session. So obviously you can see I've got some special guests behind me. We've got Izzy Christensen. Jordan Thomas, mental health coach from Nuffield Health. We've got John Barnes, England legend and world famous rapper. We have Dr. Jen Gandhi, FA Mental Health and Wellbeing Manager. And we have Zara Musker, international para footballer. Our first discussions are going to be quite exploratory about our England Legends career. And can you just run us through a little bit of your journey from when you first started playing to sort of where you are now?
A scout from Blackburn Rovers asked me to go and trial with them. And then at age kind of 13 or 14, someone came into the club from the FA, and they were looking for deaf female footballers or futsal players. But going into that team has been the best thing I've ever done. Finding the power pathway and kind of finding an identity for myself and kind of being the person that can be a role model to others.
My journey into football, along the way, many barriers. It was never linear, it was always up and down, but something which I really do challenge you all in the room. I'm a coach myself now, working with an under-16 team, but I really do think there's a gap in the market to build up resilience again.
What advice would you give to coaches to help them to support their players to overcome obstacles?
The support that is now being given to the young female footballers wouldn't have been given to these young girls. But look at them.
There are between 80 and 90 different words to describe human emotion. By the time we get to adulthood, on average, we use 3, which is mad. For me, it's about creating the spaces and the environments to be really curious and to help really young players develop a language for emotion in and around the pitch.
The difference between what I feel or what your players might report of what I feel versus what I think, that can be like a really blurred line.
Life is hard outside of sport, and it's being able to emotionally regulate and being compassionate to yourself. When I play sport or football or whatever sport I do, it's an opportunity for me to just be like, you know what, just forget about everything else that's going on. There's so many barriers in society.
What does thinking well mean to you, on and off the pitch as well?
Thinking well to me means role clarity. When you can really narrow it down, your performance that you sort of visualise you're going to do into sort of 2 or 3 key points, that's when I think you feel your best on the pitch, and that's when you think the best.
What can your coach do to help you overcome that feeling of being a rubbish footballer when the whole crowd are booing and telling you're rubbish no matter what you do because they support somebody else?
Stress is real, anxiety is real, fear is real. They are everyday, normal human experiences. What we want to do is be able to be in a position where we can facilitate and empower and give individuals the resources and the skills and the capacity to manage and regulate the emotion that shows up within them.
Applause, please.
So you're supporting young people going through a process in their life of just actual biological and cognitive development. Your ballers are going through stress when they're playing 90 minutes because they're in a competitive situation. We need to win this game. I need to make sure that I'm in my appropriate situation. That is stress. It's just positive because it's goal orientated, and when the whistle goes for that 90 minutes, the stress stops and they just get on with their life. Whereas for us, maybe as adults, when we've got family issues, work, everything else, stress is still in our life when we're sat eating our dinner.
We're going to do a really short, probably about 2-minute breathing exercise.
So this is brilliant for the minute you wake up in the morning, maybe before you leave for work or school, during any situations that you're finding quite stressful. If you have a lunch break, do it during your lunch break. Pre-game, obviously massive, because there will be natural adrenaline levels kicked up through the roof anyway. We want to keep them calm. We don't want to burn energy until the first whistle's gone off, basically. So this is brilliant for that as well. And then finally, again, if they're going for any distress or, again, that emotional regulation, this is brilliant for. I want everyone to draw their attention. This is where I get into your brains. Draw your attention to your shoulders and just relax. And I just want you to draw your attention from your anchor onto the palm of your hands. When you're ready and you feel comfortable to open your eyes up slowly.
Someone fell asleep over there, I think, which is really good, so well done.
We talked about asking open questions in training. How would you handle teenage silence in those open questions?
You go to someone in a group and ask a question and he won't answer, but then you as a coach may know that individual person to know, okay, if I go to him individually with nobody around, you may get a better response from him. So that's not just with teenagers.
How would you advise delivering culturally sensitive mental health support to players when you're dealing with players who might, for example, have a disability, be from different ethnic minorities, have different experiences of the UK?
Just ask the question. You know, to have a chat with the parents, just curious. As a coach, I want to make sure that your child is getting just as much out of this as everyone else is. Do I need to put any considerations into this program or this training? That's it. Don't be afraid of that, because it's coming from a good space.
We always say to them, we can't force you to be best friends. Outside of school, you're outside of training, you're not best friends. But when you come together, you support each other, you have each other's back. I mean, do you agree with that statement, or do you think that more could be done to try and encourage those relationships flourishing outside of football as well?
I mean, you've picked a really complex, topic and question. You're never going to be able to separate who